Today's show is sponsored by ExpressVPN. Your online activity shouldn't be public. Protect yourself at expressvpn.com/inside.
I finished.
Oh, God.
Oh, that came out. Hey, everybody, and welcome back to Inside Gaming Daily for Friday.
Sorry, I don't want to do it too loud. Bruce is sleeping.
Shut up, Rosh.
Guys, so we've got some good news to report on for a Friday. A good old-fashioned leak. Remember those? Remember a time before worldwide pandemics when all we had to worry about was video games? Seems like so long ago.
Yep.
Yeah, those were good times. But, you know, we're in a worldwide pandemic now, so back to the leak. This one's about the next Far Cry game because it looks like a storefront accidentally spilled a whole lot of beans about Far Cry 6. We're all about the beans here at Inside Gaming.
My beans!
Yeah, all of the beans. So we got plot details, the setting, the cover art, a release date, even confirmation on the actor who is playing the main villain.
I guess y'all would call it tea, but I'm in my 40s, so we call it beans.
I like beans better.
The leak surfaced this morning courtesy of a listing for the game in the Hong Kong PlayStation Store. It immediately started making rounds on the internet. Sony pulled it down, but of course it was too late.
Sorry, Sony, you already spilled your beans. All right, so let's talk about what we learned, everybody. The game is set in a fictional Latin America country called Yara, which seems to be pretty clearly patterned after Cuba. Sick. Let's all be communists.
Yeah, the listing describes it as a tropical paradise frozen in time. So that seems to be a little bit of a reference to Cuba. Remember, because they were all like, had to drive around their 1950s Chevys. But the main bad guy is a dictator named Anton Castillo, who is, quote, intent on restoring his nation back to its former glory by any means, with his son Diego following in his bloody footsteps.
One time I cracked my head open and I bled
man.
so much that I was walking around and I looked down and there was a bunch of just blood footprints everywhere.
And you were like,
A clue.
I used to work with a kid who...
It's okay. Some people are fighting back.
We're just glossing over Connor's story and trying to
Yeah,
hear.
I'm trying to just,
It's okay, it's fine. Castillo, judging by the cover art, will be played by the actor Giancarlo Esposito, who you probably remember from his iconic run in Breaking Bad, as well as The Mandalorian.
It would be cool if his character in Far Cry runs a chicken restaurant also.
And this would confirm recent hints that Esposito has been dropping about appearing in a big new video game. Ooh, the peak of everybody's career.
And then they confirmed it. Probably wanted to get ahead of the leaks. The official Far Cry Twitter posted a little like a 10-second teaser that says, Anton would not be pleased. See you Sunday at UB Forward. It's just a clip of Giancarlo Esposito lighting a big fat stogie.
I'm ballsy. I don't take no from anyone. I smoke my stogie anywhere I want.
It feels like a threat. Yeah, they're threatening
It is.
us.
It is a
Big
threat, for
drag.
sure.
We are going to kill whoever leaked this on the PlayStation Store. But yeah, in an interview with Collider earlier this month, Esposito said he'd been working on a new game that required a, quote, new style of acting.
He added in that interview, the video game I did, which is going to be huge, but I can't mention it. But his involvement is certainly a good sign. His portrayal of the drug kingpin Gus in Breaking Bad was legendary, and it'll be interesting to see how his style translates into a big game like Far Cry. I mean, those villains are just given as a football field to chew up the scenery.
The leaked cover art shows Esposito's character looking menacingly at the camera with his hands on the shoulder of a young boy, possibly his son.
Okay, but who are you in this game? Well, it looks like you'll play a local guerrilla fighter named Danny Rojas, who challenges Castillo, the dictator. Finally, Far Cry, Communist Revolution, Viva la Revolucion.
Usually you're taking down communist revolutions in Far Cry, right?
Right.
Far Cry 5's cover art sparked a lot of controversy a few years ago as a gang of bearded white dudes who were armed to the teeth and holding Bibles. Some accused Ubisoft of making the bad guys a group of white, right-wing extremists. That is what they were. They just
kind of watered it down.
Yeah.
The game mainly just depicted them as a religious cult, so Ubisoft, I feel like they definitely have a history of flirting with controversial imagery and ideas, but then ultimately just watering them down to more generic bad guys. Like, I'm sure he's a dictator. He's certainly not a dictator propped up by the United States.
No.
And Dole fruit and the sugar industry.
No. The leak also gave us more details about the game. The description calls it the largest Far Cry playground to date, and it'll include jungles and beaches and the capital city known as Esperanza.
The leak added employ makeshift weapons, vehicles, and amigos. Oh, the new fangs for hire to burn the tyrannical regime to the ground. All you guys, you're my amigos. Now let's take down the establishment.
Tell me more.
Patrick, there's a pre-order bonus for this new game called a state-of-the-art Discos Locos weapon and a skin for Chorizo. Who is Chorizo? Your pet tiger?
Gotta be an animal, right? That's an animal-like companion. It's Far Cry.
We even got a release date for the game, hell yeah. According to the store page, it's listed for February 18th of next year. Obviously, those dates are subject to change, but given that the last Far Cry game came out in 2018, that would make sense. We are going through a global pandemic that does tend to shift dates around here and there, but who knows?
Ubisoft, as they kind of alluded to in that tweet, they're planning on holding an E3-style showcase this Sunday, probably where they were going to reveal the game before all this happened. The cat's out of the bag. Yeah, we'll get more on Sunday now.
As for Ubisoft, the new Far Cry game cannot get here soon enough because it's been a weirdly slow time for them. They haven't released that much over the last year, and what they have released has not been great.
Just Dance 2020 wasn't the groundbreaking game of the year.
Autumn, is it you who couldn't afford a Wii when you were a kid, so you danced to Just Dance YouTube videos?
Yeah.
10-year-old Autumn is like...
Wow, thanks for bringing up my own childhood trauma that I completely buried
No
up
problem.
to this moment.
I'm not sure why you told me.
I don't know why either.
Anything told to me becomes a weapon.
So yeah, like we're saying, aside from Just Dance 2020, one of Ubisoft's most recent games was Ghost Recon Breakpoint, which released in October and was a disaster.
In a conference call in October, CEO Yves Guillemot told investors that the game has been strongly rejected by a significant portion of the community, which is bad. I mean, if you don't know corporate speak, that's bad.
But yeah, that game came at the worst possible time for Ubisoft. Not that any publisher ever wants a bomb, but Ghost Recon Breakpoint was supposed to get Ubisoft through a very lean 2019. They had to readjust their profit estimates by hundreds of millions of dollars. But now they're trying to fix it. They said last year that their plan was to put out 5 AAA games during the 2020-21 fiscal year. Watch Dogs Legion, Gods and Monsters, Rainbow Six Quarantine, also 2 more from its biggest franchises.
2 more Just Dance games, you're saying?
Yeah.
I'm into that. Since then, they've announced the Viking-themed Assassin's Creed Valhalla that's due out later this year, and it looks like Far Cry 6 will be the other big franchise game. And if it is in fact coming out next February, that would put it just within the next fiscal year. So you did it, Ubisoft. Great job.
Yeah.
I'm actually, genuinely, good job, and thank you for making a bunch of games.
They make okay games now. They make
fine.
decent games.
It's
Please
like we
put
were talking
games
about on the podcast yesterday. They're AA games,
fine.
you know?
You can play a Ubisoft game and immediately know that it's a Ubisoft game.
Yeah, these have been tough times for Ubisoft, so they're obviously busting out the big guns over the next several months to get the cash rolling in.
Back to Far Cry 6. The description also indicates that it'll be a cross-gen game. Duh. And it also provided some good news on that front. It indicated that PlayStation 4 copies of the game will be upgraded for free if you play on the PlayStation 5, and you can imagine that it'll be the same for the Xbox One and Series X. Xbox has apparently been pushing real hard on developers to not charge for the upgrade.
The store page also indicates that there will be an online multiplayer mode for, I guess it's 2 players. I don't know. It's probably a big Far Cry Online thing that they're going to roll out because every game now has to have a multiplayer mode. You got to monetize it to the fullest extent. You just can't have a single player campaign. That's no fun.
That's really good news for me and Connor. So yeah, it's a pretty major leak. Seems like somebody at Sony is going to get a good talking to for this screw up. I mean, that's putting it lightly. They will be fired.
I feel like for sure this was just a stunt. I feel like there's no way they would have had all this ready to I don't know. I guess it's just my feelings on the matter.
I mean, they were going to get attention for this regardless. They would have gotten it on Sunday if they had just rolled it out. Ubisoft games are also pretty notorious for leaking. We saw lots of storefronts leak details about Assassin's Creed Valhalla just before it was announced too. They're sort of the Call of Duty of France.
But that just makes me feel even more strongly that it's on purpose and just leaking. As for Far Cry 6, we're going to hear more about the game on Sunday when they do their Ubisoft Forward event, which we're actually live streaming. So, you can check it out. right here on our YouTube channel.
That's very good. Be sure to also log into your Uplay account and just put it on in the background so you can get a PC code for Watch
Also
Dogs
make sure to
2.
check out What a Show.
The official stream of Far Cry.
Brian,
we
you got
gotta-
a Twitch stream you want to plug? Like, okay, let's all start plugging our own.
He does.
Twitch.com/Brian Gar. That's right.
That's not
yeah.
it. It's
Alright.
Twitch TV/Brian Gar.
Oh,
You got
whatever.
Brian
I
Gar.
don't know how this works.
Someone asked us, when will you guys quit Inside Gaming to just do What a Show full time? And it was like, the second we make as much money. If you ever wanted to be a murderous, pillaging Viking while also getting to be the hero, this game, I guess this is for you. This is your game. It's your time to shine.
Yeah, it was the first Assassin's Creed game since Odyssey back in 2018, and we've been hearing a lot of rumors about the latest installment. But finally, we have some official confirmation of all those leaks.
So, first things first, the game isn't called